as they say, we are the hands and feet. Okay? You have to walk to work. You have to do something. We are the hands and feet. But the master of the universe is the one who opens the tap. How much, by who, and when. That's it. It's a partnership here. Very simple. That's to simplify what's midat bitachon. Okay. Up until now, what we said, very nice, very good approach. But we have to now look into another approach that might throw us off. And we have to bring it up so chas v'shalom nobody will have doubts. Some say that Emunah, having trust and belief in Hashem, is to be calm because everything that is supposed to happen will happen. Right? And you cannot cause Hashem to do anything. Just sit back, relax, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Okay, right? And let me add on that you can't do anything to add or to change what Hashem is going to do. Where it's incorrect, or forget about right now incorrect, is if this is the case, then don't stop praying. Right? Because if you need to sit back and relax and nothing and everything will happen as it's supposed to happen and you can't change anything, so why are you praying? Stop praying. I'll give you a note now. You can be dismissed from praying. So, in the book Chovat HaLevavot, the duty of the hearts, the duties of the heart, he tells a story there. There's a story with Rabbi Akiva that was traveling and he went into a city and was knocking on the doors and asking for a place to stay. So there's a few versions of the stories. One of the versions says that nobody wanted to host him because it was around the time of the Meret Bar Kochva and they didn't trust him and they didn't want to listen to him or whatever. It's irrelevant right now. The story is, what's important for us to know, that nobody hosted him. So what did he do? He had to go out of the city and he went to the forest. And he had a candle to learn Torah. He had a rooster to waking up in the morning. And he had a donkey to carry his stuff. Okay. As he camps out in the forest, wind comes, blows off the candle. Okay, now he can't learn Torah. A lion comes and eats the chicken, the donkey, chicken. The bottom line is that he's left without a donkey, without a chicken, and without a candle. What is the approach of Rabbi Akiva? Kol man derachman ha'avid letav avid. Everything that Hashem does, He does for the good. Everything is good. Lo and behold, the next day he wakes up in the morning, on the news, bandits, robbers came into the city, raped, killed, robbed, and did a lot of problems and ran away. And he's like, look at that. If they would see me in the forest by the candle, for sure they would come and rob me and kill me and ever. And if they would hear the rooster or hear the donkey, so he understood how he was saved. Right? I'm sure you heard the story already. I'm not the one who's breaking the news. Great story. In Chovat HaLevavot, the duties of the hearts, he says something interesting. Bitachon, trust in Hashem and security in Hashem, is that I should accept the will of Hashem no matter what. Right? Loss of business, death of a loved one, horrible divorce, how you get kicked out of your house, how you call it, eviction, whatever. Whatever happens to you, I just need to accept it, and that's it. And why? Because only Hashem knows what's good for me. So if we're going by the story of Rabbi Akiva, was that the will of Hashem and that was good for Rabbi Akiva? If that's the approach? And if this is the case, how come King David says that if I trust Hashem, then kindness will surround me? When you just said that Bitachon is that I have to accept whatever happens, doesn't matter what, because Hashem knows what's good for me. So how would you interpret the story with Rabbi Akiva? That Hashem knows what's good for Rabbi Akiva and he should just accept it, because makes perfect sense. He accepted the wind blowing the candle, he accepted the death of the donkey and the chicken, and later on understood that Hashem did what's good for him. Right? That's one way of the approach. But maybe it's the other way around, and Be'etzem Rabbi Akiva trusted in Hashem when he was kicked out of the city and camped in the forest, and the trust caused the kindness to surround him and blow out the candle and kill the chicken and everything, and he was saved. So which one is it? Interesting question. Now, if David HaMelech says that if I trust Hashem that I surround myself with kindness, so how do I surround myself with kindness? How do I add kindness? Hashem, when He created the world, He made all the rules. One fundamental rule that He did, I'm sure you know of it, it's called midah keneged midah. Measure for measure. Right? You're familiar with the term. Saying, in other words, that Hashem is walking with me. David HaMelech says, in Book of Tehillim, chapter 121, Kuf Kaf Aleph, verse 5, Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Translation, the Lord is your shadow by your right hand. The Baal Shem Tov explains that verse and says, whatever you do, like a shadow, Hashem is your shadow. Pretty simple. Saying in other words that it all starts with you. You really control your mazal. Now I don't want to translate the word mazal luck. Luck is when you go to Vegas, you need luck. Mazal is not luck. Even though the translation, if you put in Google the word mazal, it will come out as luck. But mazal is something completely different. I told you already, mazal is the shefa, is the abundance, the flow that comes from the world above to set your life. The acronym of mazal is makom, zman, limud, the place, the time, and your Torah. And you set your mazal. You are born with a certain mazal, and according to your behavior, mazal comes from the word in Aramaic, mazalyahu. And I'm sure it sounds familiar to you. It's the same root in the word in Hebrew, nezilah, nazil, something that drips. Right? Certain shefa, certain energy comes from the world above. It's called chayut, a life force. And how much you open the faucet, that's how much it will drip down. You are the ones who's controlling the mazal, how it would come to you. So the Baal Shem Tov says, you want to add more kindness? It starts with you. Hashem is the shadow. Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha. David HaMelech says that Hashem is the shadow, saying another, you start. You start, or as Hashem would say, you lead, I'm after you. That's it. You have to elevate yourself to such a place that you know that Hashem is the only one. The reason why most people don't have the right trust is that they don't live under the impression that Hashem is the one. That's the reality. When you elevate yourself to a very high level that you're confident, you are sure that Hashem is the only thing, then you have midat bitachon, and then you apply yourself accordingly. Then it's not true that you can't change anything. That's why Hashem gave us prayers. People pray all day long for the health of somebody they love or the health of somebody they don't even know. And they pray for their parnasah to meet their other half. If that would not work, Hashem would not tell us to pray. Saying in other words, yes, you can change what's coming to you. How do you add the chesed when we're asking David HaMelech? Then very simple. You start. You start. Hashem will follow. Hashem says, I have your back. Yeah, you take the initiative.